Hello, everybody. What's up? This is Marshall Lee of DonkeyJawProjects.com, and this is the Early Bird Artcast number 8. Yeah! Need to have like a live studio audience sound effect, but not really live. Some people used to use that. I heard on a lot of podcasts, there's like this sound effect of like kids cheering and stuff. I've heard a lot of people actually use that. We should get that going. I'm not quite sure how to use sound effects here, if it's even possible, but I don't know. That could be fun. Who knows? So, how's everybody doing today? I'm doing all right. Kind of groggy this morning, trying to wake up and stuff. Took me a little while to even get to this point because, you know, some days it's just like that. I almost was like, I don't think I want to do this, but when I have the opportunity, I kind of need to try and do it. So let's see. So I'm gonna trace over this on a different layer because he's kind of drawn too thick. Where are we at? Might have a friendly visitor. We shall see. Put the word out as usual. And I'm drawing in blue. All right, let's see. So, I am literally pretty much, I shouldn't say literally, but I'm pretty much done with the inks of this little story. Um, just as you can see, doing some finishing touches. And, I added in some like screen tone effects and stuff the other day on one of the pages. So I might go through all these and kind of add that in as well. But yeah, pretty happy with this. It's what I was expecting, sort of. It kind of seems like it's been a longer journey. I don't know. I've been working on it for like a month and a half, this particular story, and it's not like it's even that profound of a story or anything. It's just kind of fun, but I don't know. Even working that much, it's like it's weird because I'm working way quicker than I was working before, but I still feel like it's taking forever. Comics are just like that, I guess. But yeah, I'm happy with the results, and I keep putting like the caveat in there, that this isn't my best work, man. This is just me trying to get comics out. I should kind of try to sound confident with this stuff. I think I sound okay, but like, I don't know. People would say probably that I should try to sound more confident, I guess. I don't really know. Anyways, so yeah, but I'm enjoying the process. Something really cool. Mr. James, I need to figure out how to say your last name, or I don't know if you want to share your last name or not, because you go by James GSR. But anyways, that guy, Mr. James GSR on the YouTubes, he has done something awesome, and that is he has decided to help me with the coloring with the flats and maybe even possibly rendering. We'll see. But here you can see the first two pages. There's actually There's more, but I'll format those later because I have to kind of do a little adjustments here and there. But first page is flatted, second page is flatted. Pretty cool, right? That's a lot of work. So I really appreciate that, James. You freaking rock. You rock the most hardcorest for sure. So thanks. Um, yeah, I don't know. I can't. It's just really a nice thing, and like I don't know. I can't tell you how much I appreciate the help because it's a lot of work. And I don't know. That's I guess I've said it, but I feel like I need to say more. So, anyways, I'm gonna check the Facebook chat just to see if there's any issues because I know one person was saying that they'd like to come on. Hey, what's up, James? And see you're in the chat. Wow, you should get somebody to color this comic. Yeah, just GSR. Happy to be helping. Cool. So yeah, we'll uh we'll call him James GSR. So yeah, looks like somebody is either in or is trying to get in. You in here, Teresa?
Hello, can you hear me?
Oh, I hear you.
Oh, it wasn't working before, so I wasn't sure.
How you doing?
I'm doing all right. How are you?
Oh, now it's louder all of a sudden. Cool.
Oh, okay, wait. I
Some
probably need to change to my phone because
no,
I'm
it's
on
good.
Photoshop and I think it depends, when you're on Photoshop and it's taking all of the power.
Right. I mean, it sounds clear now, so
Okay,
it's
I'll
good.
try. I'll try not to do whatever I was doing before.
Um, yeah. So, um, Teresa, let everybody know a little bit about you and what you do.
Um, okay, so my name is Teresa. I'm a comic book artist and a teacher. I do both part time because you know none of them is working full time at the minute. And at the moment, I am finishing a comic. I'm doing the cover actually right now as we speak. And yeah, that's what I'm doing right now: comics, illustrations for board games, things like that. And yeah, that's basically it. I don't know what else to say. I met
uh,
Marshall in the 100 Days of Making Comics group. I've done it twice, the 100 days, and yeah, that's basically it, I think.
yeah, we've had a group. We've had like this kind of private group of people, semi-private. I mean, the hundreds and sometimes even a little more private with just a few people. And it's been really. It was just a cool way to hang out with other artists, when you're
Yeah.
working or whatever. And Teresa's been in a lot of them. I've been in a lot of them. So yeah, really cool stuff. And yeah, Teresa, where can people read your? Well, I know the answer, but can people read your comics and also like social media? Like can people find you?
I think the safest one would be to go on my Instagram because I have my website link there and you can find everything. So my Instagram is just Teresa Del Pilar, which is the same like Teresa as in Teresa without H, and then underscore DEL underscore pillar as in a pillar in a building. So Teresa del Pilar with both underscores.
Sweet. And
Yeah.
we will put. I'm gonna put that link in there now. This can take me a minute, um, but yeah. So that's awesome. And you got a few comics. At least I think, or you're working on one and you've already published one. I think you have like two, right? That are kind of got some good good progress on it, right? Something like that.
Yeah. Well, I did one as a colorist only, and that one's finished.
Hmm.
And then the one I'm doing that I'm finishing right now, like I'm actually finished it right now. The cover
Hmm.
is I'm working with a writer, and that's coming out sometime this year. I mean, he's lettering and I'm finishing the cover, so it shouldn't be too long from now. It's called Illustrated Girl. This is the third issue. I'm taking over from another artist that did the first two issues, and it's a really cool concept. I really enjoy it.
Awesome. And so you guys can see my screen now. This is Teresa's Instagram,
Oh,
and
yes,
it's I don't know. It's obvious to me that the art is really amazing, and I think
thanks.
it reminds me. It's like it kind of seems like almost like a manga hybrid. Like it's that
Yeah,
you could see the influence of manga, but it's not really manga. It's got its own. You got your own like flavor to it, and there's always a kind of a bit of humor in it too, and really cool stuff. A lot of good gesture, and I don't know. I love it.
thanks. Yeah, the manga influence is completely unintended. It, because over here we got a lot of anime as a kid, and the comics that we got were mostly Japanese. So
Hmm.
you kind of like, I think that the style that you're exposed to as a child really affects the way you look at things when you grow up, I think.
Awesome. I guess while I'm sharing the screen, I might as well do my little advertising thing too here. Just guys, don't forget, Alternarween is still going on, and it looks like I don't know if this isn't a refresh page. Let's see. Wow, looks like he made his goal already. I think I heard him say something about that. But if you want to get some cool comics to put give to kids on Halloween, perfect opportunity to get kids into comics. And this tab used to be Monkey Junk. Now it's reference for a briefcase. Here we go. So let's see. Is this a refresh page? So we got Chris McQuinlan's Monkey Junk. Oh, it's going up. Yep, looks like he's increased his reach and still needs a lot of help here. So definitely go check out Monkey Junk Chapter 1. Welcome to the Infiniverse, and help a brother out. And I'll put links in the description and stuff. So, anyways, just figured I'd get that out of the way while I was screen sharing. Um, and of course, you know where you can find me. I didn't put my links before, but patreon.com/DonkeyJobProjects. And yeah, so now that's over. um, so yeah, I was thinking of something out recently. I've actually been catching up on some of the Marvel movies. Do you watch the any of the comic book movies? I think I remember hearing you did.
Yeah. I actually recently watched the last one.
Hmm.
uh well, I don't want to say, because I remember it, this happens at the end, but I don't want to say it in case I spoil it for everybody. But what is it called? The Avengers Infinity War, I
Yeah,
think.
yeah, yep. Infinity War.
Yeah, that's the one where at the end is really like, what, right?
Yeah.
Okay, so that's the one I watched last.
Yeah. Yeah. What did you think of that one?
I enjoyed it. I thought, I mean, I tend to like the individual ones better, because especially like the Thor Ragnarok, I really like that one.
Hmm.
But the Avengers ones tend to be a little bit more depressing and intense, and the other ones are a bit light-hearted and a little bit more fun. I find them like
Yeah.
Spider-Man: Homecoming was fun, and Thor Ragnarok was fun, and then you go to Avengers and it's all drama, and I enjoy it, but I prefer the fun bits.
Right. Right. That's cool. Yeah. I actually didn't see Spider-Man: Homecoming yet. That's one I gotta see. I keep forgetting that that exists for some reason. Um, I think
Yeah,
it's because they've done so many different Spider-Mans and stuff, so I get a little confused after a while. Um, but yeah, I've been catching up too, and I recently saw the new Avengers as well, And yeah, I thought it was good. I thought it was pretty good. I enjoyed it. Like there was, I don't get super critical. I just, if I do any analyzing, I kind of analyze the story, just because I'm trying to learn how to write stories and stuff. Um,
Yeah. What
but
do you make
yeah,
of it?
decent. Yeah, it was I really like that it was. I kind of remember a lot about like the Guardians being in it. Like I don't know. I guess I kind of looked forward to them being in it because I just really love the Guardians of the Galaxy movies. Yeah, I don't know. It was cool. It was just to me. It was just there was so much going on. I probably have to watch it again, but there's so much. I don't know. It's hard to comment because I think of like the different characters. I think of like Iron Man, and his part was cool, and I always love seeing Doctor Strange do his thing. So that was cool. And then Thanos. I mean, it was really about Thanos and what's the lady, his daughter. I can't remember her
Gamora.
name. Amora, yeah.
Gamora?
Gamora. Okay, yeah. So that whole dynamic was definitely interesting. There's definitely some good character moments. Yeah, I don't know. It was good. Um, and then I also saw what is it? I saw Black Panther recently, finally, and
I
that was
haven't
pretty
watched that
good.
yet. Yeah. I need to
It
watch it. Everyone tells me that it's really good. So I really need.
Yeah, it's different. Like you almost don't like. You could probably watch that movie like maybe start after the beginning credits somehow, and maybe not even know it's a Marvel movie. Because
Yeah.
it's just kind of its own world, it's its own thing. And I don't know. It's interesting. It's got a big kind of tribal type of feel to it, but then also it's kind of set in a sci-fi type of environment, and yeah, and it has to do with like politics, kind of, and not like our politics necessarily, but I guess it kind of does, reflect some things in our modern day politics and stuff. But it was pretty interesting. The characters are really good. So yeah, I don't know. I dug it.
That's cool. I need to watch it. I'm always like the problem with the Avengers ones and the general universe ones is that you have to keep track of a lot of things, like you say.
Hmm.
And a lot of the times, what happens to me is that maybe I watch one film. I watched the first film maybe I don't know. Was it 8 years ago? Iron Man, more than that, right?
The first Iron Man.
Yeah, I think so. It was like
Yeah,
ages
it was a
ago.
while ago. Yeah, for sure.
And then they made comments on some characters that appeared in the first one. And, I'm not invested enough to remember who they're talking about. So sometimes I feel a little bit lost. Whereas in the films that is focus on only one character, like Thor or, I don't know, Spider Man or whatever, is a lot easier to keep track of what's going on.
Yeah.
That's what I find. So if you don't invest a lot of time remembering or reading the comics or stuff, it's a little bit hard to keep track of, I find.
Yeah, yeah, and I'm kind of similar. I don't really know. I only know, like, I'm not a super comics, geek as much as I wish I was, but there's so much I don't know about, like, all the different stories and stuff. So a lot of it's kind of new for me, and I just can enjoy it for what it is. But I agree, like the kind of the single character ones are definitely more easy to follow. And yeah, I loved Doctor Strange. Watched that one like 3 times, which is odd for me to watch them more than one time usually. Um, and one I really liked, the first Deadpool was really good.
I haven't
And
watched that one.
interesting. Like it was, I don't know, that it was just funny, cool humor, interesting, and well, it's actually interesting because it reminds me. I mean, it's not like it, but it reminds me of Rocky because when you watch Rocky, it's like it's this really good movie, and you think of it as like a boxing movie, but it's really a love story. And that's kind of what Deadpool is too. It's like a love story for dudes or something. I don't know. but
Yeah,
but so it's weird. It's interesting. And that's kind of like I said. That's what Deadpool is. The only thing is like the second one. I just watched it actually this weekend with my wife. We watched both of them. I saw the first one a while ago, but my wife never saw the first one, and we really liked the first one. Um, but then we watched the second one, and we like could. It took us forever to like get through it. We kept stopping it, and it was just like it wasn't keeping our attention. Um, and it just wasn't so good. I don't know. Like I feel like it was actually a pretty bad movie, and I just wanted to enjoy it. I wasn't like expecting a lot out of it. I wasn't, trying to think this is going to be like the best movie ever. I just was like, oh, we'll check it out or whatever, and hopefully I can enjoy it. But I was kind of disappointed by it, actually, to be honest.
yeah. It happens sometimes. Sometimes second parts are a bit rubbish, or third parts even more. But
Yeah,
it's hard to keep it fresh when you've already done a full film about it. And this is some of the problems I have with Marvel Universe and anime and a lot of these things is that they go on for so long and they have such dramas going on that in the end they feel a bit like a soap opera. I don't know. I don't know if like Deadpool 2 is like that, but sometimes it happens when you have a franchise. You
yeah,
start to make it more dramatic and it just loses the freshness that it initially had.
that's a good point. And I'll be honest, I don't think that that's the plight of Deadpool 2, but I do agree, like, especially with, manga and anime or whatever, like, that I think is particularly true about
Oh yeah.
that kind of comic and stuff. And I think it's the nature of it. I mean, they're, making these stories, so quickly, and they're making so much of it that, you almost can't help but kind of fall on just trying to dramatize everything,
Yeah, it's like the Walking Dead. It's such a
Yeah,
soap.
yeah, it is. We actually stopped watching that one too because I just got to the point where I'm just like, all right,
This is ridiculous.
yeah,
Yeah.
this is just starting to get convoluted at this point, and I don't know.
Yeah.
So
Yeah, I like self-contained stories. I don't think I have. I don't know if this is a problem of attention span, and this is like, oh, the modern world and attention spans, but
mhm,
I can't follow a story that doesn't have a point.
yeah,
And so if you have a story that like The Walking Dead, which was cool at the beginning because it's like, oh, they have to get to this place or they have to do this, but
mhm.
once it gets to that point where they're all gonna die, there's no point. And I just lost hope in the whole story. It's like, they're all gonna die. Who cares?
Yeah, yeah. And to me, and this is a big spoiler alert, I guess, if you haven't seen I don't know, 2 seasons ago, or actually, I don't know, it's either last season or the season before. But one of the major characters dies, and you know, it was crazy when like Glenn died. Like everybody, I
Oh
don't know,
yeah,
that was kind of rough and whatnot. But
it
you
was
know,
disgusting as well because they bashed his head in.
yeah, absolutely.
It's horrible.
It was funny. I was talking to a friend about it, and he's like, "Oh, it's so gross when they bash his head in and stuff, or something." They said something about that, and I'm like, "Was it?" And I'm like, "I don't remember." And I was thinking about it. Well, I probably don't remember because I probably didn't look. Because whenever, like, I'm just kind of a wimp when it comes to like gory stuff. I literally I'll block the screen, like put my hand up and stuff because it's just like I don't need to see that part. It's bad enough just knowing what happens.
I know I did exactly the same, but the thing is, I was watching with my boyfriend, and I was like, "Tell me when it's over," and he said, "Now it's over." And I looked, and it was exactly the point where his eye was popping out and everything. I was like, "Why do you do that every time?"
That's funny. Do the same thing with my wife because she's really sensitive to like animal things, like when something cruel happens to an animal or whatever.
Yeah,
And I
totally.
don't like it either, but whatever, I can kind of deal with it. Um, but I always tell her when it's done. But it's tricky though because sometimes like you think it's done and then they flash back to it, and you're like, ah.
That's what he said. He said, like, no, no, he had actually hit him before, but then they turned the camera around again. And I was like, yeah, right.
Yep.
Yeah, it was
So
pretty disgusting. But
yeah,
I accept it. It's a brutal world, and they're hitting people with a bat in the head. It's not gonna look nice, is it? It would be silly to make it look nice.
yeah,
But then again, I don't need to watch that.
yeah. I agree. Um. So yeah, I don't know. It's just interesting that I agree. Like for sure, like there has to be kind of a point to the story to keep
Absolutely, yeah.
to stay interested, and it has to be like about something.
Yes.
And I don't know, like sometimes I have a hard time figuring out what a story is about. Even if it's well done, sometimes it's kind of hard to get the point. But that's maybe I don't know, maybe that's a sign of it's either a sign of I'm not paying attention or it's a sign of bad storytelling. I don't know which one all the time.
I mean, some stories are pointless, but you're talking about theme, right? Like figuring out, oh, this is about this or that.
Yeah, some people sometimes it could be referred to as theme for sure. But yeah, yeah, I don't know. Just whatever it's about, some people, I don't know. I've gotten into so many like learning how to write things, and um, some people will say, "Well, theme is different," but yeah, I think it's basically theme. What you're saying, what we're saying.
Yeah. Yeah, I mean, absolutely. I think if a story has no point or no theme, then I lose completely the interest because I like to read a little bit, not that it has like a children's book, like they always have like a moral or a teaching. I don't want a story that is like the Brady Bunch and they teach you something at the end, but I do want to be able to understand something from watching the film or reading the book.
Yeah, well, there has to be. This is something that I think about a lot. Is there has to be like, and I almost think this is like literally the most important thing in a story. Um, there has to be like a sign or an obvious idea of what like what an internal struggle is for at least one of the characters, hopefully your protagonist. And that part, that element needs to be present with there. You need to be able to see there's some kind of thing that they're kind of trying to get to, fighting against, and there's got to be a reason why it's not working out for them, um, and usually there's the like I guess the theme is like kind of part of that, like the I don't know, like because sometimes there's things that are bigger than just the internal struggle, but the internal struggle to me drives the story. So
Yeah.
I don't know. There's usually like a theme. I don't know. I'm trying to think of like an example. Like,
Yeah, like in The Walking Dead at the beginning, the theme was like Rick had this internal conflict whether to be civilized or to be brutal. To the first two seasons, it was just Shane and Rick, and Shane was the one that was becoming more brutal and more and less civilized, and Rick was the one like, well, I'm gonna put my hat on every day and I'm gonna be the sheriff.
hmm
And it was that's what made it interesting at the beginning, that
yeah,
that struggle of should I become uncivilized or should I stick to you know
right,
what I think is right.
yeah,
And then that disappeared and he became like really erratic and weird.
yeah. That's the big theme for sure, in The Walking Dead, and it is an interesting thing because yeah, it's always this thing of like how far are we like willing to go, and are we gonna is there any kind of morality that we can keep, or are we just going to have to give it all up and just it's only survival? And
Yeah.
so yeah, it's really interesting. And then it's they kind of play on that by like, okay, yeah, you're willing to keep your kind of values for a while, but once this happens, now it's gonna all go out the window.
Yeah,
And
yeah. It's, it's a bit frustrating for me because it's like it's making no point in the end.
yeah, well, you can only run on that same theme for so long, I think, and then
Exactly.
once you've said it, then what?
Because it was like at the beginning, it looked as if Rick was gonna accept that he had to be a little bit brutal in order to survive, and then they went into the prison and he became a gardener, and I was like, well, what's happening now? Like, are we back at the beginning? What's going on?
Yeah, yeah. And then he kind of goes insane for a while. I mean, I don't remember. I don't think they played on it quite as much in the show, but I remember in the comic book. I don't know. It really kind of hit me, and that's close to around this time I stopped reading the comic book. But the whole thing with like his wife, he kept thinking he was hearing his wife on the phone or whatever. So he kind of
Oh
went
yeah,
insane there for a minute, and
yeah, yeah. I
I
remember
think.
that. Yeah, that happened in the show as well.
Yeah, yeah. I was just saying, like, it kind of, I don't know, maybe it hit a little harder in the comic, or maybe it's just because that's the first time I saw that part of it, and so I remember the comic more. Um, but yeah, I don't know. It's interesting how shows kind of are really good, and then or any kind of story really, and then they fall apart. I guess I say shows because, you know, I do a lot of binge watching with my wife and stuff, and it's just those they're so long running that at some point, the writers are just gonna kind of lose steam on the original theme, and it's like, how do you keep it fresh? And it's interesting to see some shows are able to keep it fresh, but some shows are just like they start resting on drama and spectacle and things like that,
Yeah,
instead of they kind of lose sight of what the actual story is.
yeah, absolutely. Happens a lot, but I think it's not a question of writing. I think it's a question of, I imagine that the producers come in and say, right, we're doing great, we need 3 more seasons of this, and they're like, there's not 3 more seasons in this. It's like, well, there has to be. And then they just have to, I imagine, because it happened with, I read about it, about Pirates of the Caribbean.
Mhm.
Apparently it was supposed to be one movie, right? There wasn't
Right.
going to be a second or a third. And then they just had a meeting with the writers and said, like, okay, it's been a great success, write a second and a third one. And they were like, wait, but we did never planned for this to be a saga. And then I was like, well, tough, go on, write something. And that's why Pirates of the Caribbean is so, like, weirdly structured,
Yeah.
because it was never meant to be so long.
Yeah, and I mean, Pirates of the Caribbean, I mean, is literally, I mean, it's a movie made up from a theme park ride. Like, it's
Exactly.
so like how deep is it gonna get?
Exactly. Yeah, yeah. I mean, they did
And
well. I think they're really fun.
yeah, oh yeah, I was surprised that it was as interesting as it was, and I think a lot of the reason why is Johnny Depp is
Yeah,
just he just plays that kind of character so well, and then Kira Knightley was pretty good too, and that I don't know the whole dynamic between kind of the team and stuff was pretty good. But yeah, I lost sight. I think I saw up to 3 or something, and I don't know. I was losing steam with it personally.
yeah. I don't see why there's this obsession. Well, I think I know why, but there's this thing where they make a film, or they write a comic or whatever, and it's successful, and then it's like, okay, now you have to make it go on forever. It's like, why? Too much of a good thing is too much, you know.
Yeah, yeah,
You just want to milk it, don't they?
yeah. And I always thought it was silly, like, because I remember Seinfeld, they talked about ending it, and some people felt like they ended it kind of short or whatever. But they even said, we were doing good, and, we're kind of at this peak, and we want to end it where it's good instead of waiting till it, has like this kind of whimpering end and nobody cares about it anymore.
Yeah.
And I kind of thought it was silly when I first heard it. This was many years ago, obviously. Um, but now, in hindsight, seeing other series and stuff, I'm like, you know what? That makes a lot of sense.
Yeah, I've heard that argument before, and I can't remember. Probably I'm making this up completely. I think it was John Lennon when he left the Beatles. He
Mhm.
left for the same reason. It's like we're doing great. I mean, from here on out, it's gonna be downhill. And he talked about it like it was like, you know what, when you're at a party and you're having a great time, and it reaches a point where you realize it's not gonna get better than this, so I might as well go home now
Yep.
and not see, you know, like you said, like degenerate into something like parties do and shows do.
Yep. Yeah, no doubt. Um, Sorry, I'm a little bit confused on what's going on with these layers here. So, like, I'm like erasing. I'm trying to just erase one layer, but then it's erasing like the paper in the background, and it's like,
Oh
what?
yeah, the layers in Clip Studio are weird. They behave in very strange ways.
Yeah, I feel like I just need to like close it and then turn it back on, and it'll work. I don't know.
Yeah, it tends to work. Give it a shot.
So weird.
How are you
So
finding the digital stuff? I know you only started doing it recently, so
yeah, it's good. I'm digging it. I don't know. I'm just kind of in the learning process still getting used to it, but yeah, I'm enjoying it so far, and I don't know. There's a lot to it. I feel like I still have a lot to learn.
oh yeah.
Using the screen tablet is just definitely makes that learning curve a lot easier.
Which one did
Um,
you get in the end?
I got a Gaomon, P something. I don't know. There's all these letters and numbers, but it's a good one. Um, it was about $400. I think I feel like I got it. I think it's normally more than that, but I was able to get it a little cheaper. So yeah, I don't know. It's really good. I don't. I have a hard time kind of understanding what might be better about a Cintiq or whatever. But
Hmm. Yeah, I don't
you
know.
know, I don't know. It seems good to me. Do you use a screen tablet, or what do you use?
I I have the other ones, the
Direct
normal ones without screen.
non-screen, yeah.
I
And
have
but
a Huion, the same as Mike.
right,
Yeah.
and you've obviously gotten pretty used to it.
You know, surprisingly fast, because I remember talking about this with you when we either of us had one, and you were saying, "Well, I want to get a screen one because I've heard the adaptation period is, tough and blah blah blah." And then I found that after playing around with it for a week, I was fine. You know,
Yeah,
that disconnect that people talk about is there at the beginning, but you get over it pretty quickly, in my experience.
yeah. I could definitely see that. I mean, I had two small ones at one point, and uh you know the first time I had one, I wasn't even interested that much in digital. I just was like, well, I think I got it to try to color stuff, and I also didn't have like, I think I was trying to use it on like GIMP and stuff. I didn't really have like Photoshop or anything. I don't know, I just
Hmm.
wasn't too into it, and I think, well, part the biggest part is I just had a really hard, it didn't seem to be working out for me. And then I got another one, and I was starting to get a little bit used to it, but the problem was it had this wire that would just like make it stop working and stuff. It would turn on and turn off, and so that was just frustrating. It was just too frustrating to use, and it wasn't because the type of tablet. It was just because it had a issue. Um, so I don't know. There was kind of that. So I didn't really, to be honest, I almost didn't give those kind of tablets a good enough chance, I guess.
Mm.
Um, but the learning curve was really rough. But I could see how it could be good because my one thing that I learned a long time ago that I noticed a lot of my friends and family never actually learned was like how to type properly. I remember being in school and there was this typing class, and it's like, for some reason, I just felt like it was really important to actually pay attention in that class because I wanted to be able to just easily type, and I just felt like it was an important skill. So I did. I did what I was supposed to do, unlike most of my other classes, and so I figured it out, and it's nice to not have to look at your hands when you're typing and just go at it. I'm not the fastest typer or anything, but I at least can do that. And so I could see how I even heard some people try to use a screen tablet after they had already been using like a regular tablet for years and being like, you know what, I actually don't want to use the screen tablet because now my pen is in the way of what I'm seeing. And with the regular tablet, you don't have that problem. You don't even look at it. You just use it.
Yeah, that's a
And
That's a good point, actually.
so it's funny because there actually is some advantages to that. So I don't know. It's interesting.
Yeah, because if you think about it, like I think one of the one you have is one of those Chinese brands that are super cheap, right?
Hmm.
Like your tablet is one of those Chinese brands that are.
Yeah, yeah, yep.
Yeah, mine too. So and still, this tablet was like 90 dollars or something, and the equivalent in the same brand for a screen tablet was, I think, 600 or something like that. And it's like, like the price point difference is just, I'm willing to go through a week of being uncomfortable to pay $400 less.
Yeah, yeah. And for me, a week didn't do the trick. So
Yeah.
um, I don't know. But
Oh,
but all right. Do you need to? Are you okay?
yeah,
I
one sec.
hear some sounds. Yeah.
Oh, yeah, it's just Stuart coming in and saying hi. I just said, I'm in a
Okay.
call, so he's all right now. Yeah.
Um, I mean, with that, to be honest, though, it is about time for me to get going. So you
Yeah.
did say we're gonna stick around for about a half hour, so we can probably end it.
Cool.
Um, but yeah, I really appreciate you coming on. This was fun to chat about some things, and
Oh, yeah.
yeah, just before we go, let everybody know where they can find your stuff.
Yeah, so if you go to Instagram, Teresa Del Pilar, which is Teresa normal without H, and then underscore DEL underscore pillar, as in a pillar.
Cool. And again, the link is in the description now. And I don't have the chat up anymore because I'm a bum and I should have it up. But let's see if I can just do a little quick check in with the chat real quick. Oh, yeah, it looks like there's been some conversation. Sorry I missed the conversation, guys. Dave was in there, and Chris was in there. Thanks for watching, you guys. You guys know where you can find me, donkeyjawprojects.com. Um, and also patreon.com/donkeyjawprojects if you want to read the comics that I'm working on. And also on social media, Instagram and Twitter, it's Marshall Lee _DJP. And that's going to be it for the 8th episode of Early Bird Artcast. Again, thanks, Teresa, for coming on, and we will talk to you guys next time.
Thank you.
Yep, no problem.
Bye.
Bye.